This is what we're going to be covering today. We are going to be talking about how, first, just overview of the training itself. We're going to introduce the learning resources for you, which will be the Ask the Expert session on in 2 weeks, where you can be able to come to ask any questions you have or ask for anything to be revisited. We'll also share the Coordinator Toolkit, which will have videos and resources for you for this rollout. And we'll get set up with a tool called Slido that we'll use for knowledge checks. So that's used for learning surveys and knowledge checks. We'll get started with that in a moment. But first, let's show what we're going to cover today in today's demo. We're going to show how new members register for the portal, how they log in for the portal, and the security factors that are taken in place for that, the navigation of the portal. So covering every corner of the portal. The portal, I can't say enough about it. It's very intuitive to make sure that it's, a new member or just a member who publicly facing, externally facing member goes to the portal without a guide. They go into the portal and they are able to accomplish their task because everything is shown to them for just what they need. They're not given too much information. They're given just enough, just right. So you'll see what I mean when I get through the portal, but curious about your perception of that, how you feel about the portal. The qualifying events, we will go through that to be able to show how a member can add health insurance. So we'll use a scenario that a member has only basic life insurance to show how the member has basic life insurance, so they're able to register for the portal, but we want to show how to walk through the application. So we'll do that with a qualifying event where a member is adding health insurance for a qualifying event. So for instance, by policy, if a member is getting married, they can add a family event, they can add a family health plan. If they're getting divorced, they can enroll in family or individual health plan to give themselves health coverage. So we'll go through that. Then we'll do a knowledge check. Then we'll show modifications to show what happens has been reviewed and revisions have been requested. So we'll show how members can communicate with GIC staff to provide proper documentation for their application if there's any questions. And if we have time, we may go through the qualifying event again to show a different version of it, but we're already showing the qualifying event earlier, and we have a lot to cover in the time, so we'll see. But we will cover standalone applications, which is how members at any time, without a need for a qualifying event, can update their optional life insurance so they can modify, enroll, or cancel their optional life insurance, or they can enroll or cancel their long-term disability, and they can also modify their beneficiaries. At any time, they can do that in the portal. So we'll show how that is easily done. And then we'll show how members can also view and pay their bill in the portal. And we'll end up with some more knowledge check questions. So because questions are just so great to make sure that we're covering everything, we want to hear your questions. So if we're not able to cover your question today, or if a question comes up in the middle of the night while you're thinking about this and having wonderful dreams about the wonderful portal, you have a question, that's okay. On the 22nd and the 23rd, we'll have an Ask the Expert session for you to be able to come in with your question. Think of this like open office hours. We are going to be here, and if no one has a question, it will just be silence. So because that, you don't have to attend either of these sessions. We're going to be collecting the questions for you and putting them in the Coordinator Toolkit. So right over here is a link to the Coordinator Toolkit. So how we get to the Coordinator Toolkit, from the GIC page, Coordinator Information page, right over here at the top, under Top Tasks, we have the My GIC link, Member Benefit Portal toward, that's quite a tongue twister, here we go. My GIC link, Member Benefits Portal Coordinator Toolkit. All right, good enough. So if you click that, then you are shown what is contained in this toolkit. You get the rollout plan, and it's right here in this table of contents as well. So the rollout plan showing what agencies are getting the portal on what dates. the member portal user guide. So that is in the toolkit documents. So the user guides show, and you'll have special section for offline. The user guides show what members see going through the portal. You'll be able to see micro videos, so step-by-step instructional videos, much like I'm doing now, but bite-sized for just simple tasks. So task-based instead of just the full walkthrough. And then the FAQs. So we are gathering all the questions from all of the sessions, whether those are the demo sessions, if people have been asking questions in the chat, we're collecting those. And as well from the Ask the Expert session, we're collecting those to make sure that we can have, we can make sure that you're seeing questions that you haven't even thought of. And so with that said, it'll also have samples in here. So my GAC link, he'll have what you need to know, a list of clear, concise statements to help your benefit coordinators answer questions and talk about or just. In addition to that, you'll also be given an email sample of what it looks like for members to be invited. So we'll show you that in a moment. First, let's get set up with Slido. So Slido is the engagement tool that I talked about earlier. We're going to be doing this at a couple times during today's demo to just have some interaction, seeing how the knowledge is resonating. It's kind of like Kahoot if you've done that in any virtual meetings. There's a couple of ways to join. One is aiming your phone's camera at this QR code. That is the easiest way to join. Just by aiming the camera, it will automatically ask you, do you want to go to this website, slido.com, and the link for this room. So the second way is just going manually to the website and to the room. It's preferred to go on a phone. You can use your desktop, but it's preferred to go on a phone because this way your phone is your clicker and your computer is your demo. So your computer screen will be filled with the demo, and you can just have your phone for answering the questions you'll see on the demo. That's preferred. If the phone's not working, you can also just go on the website, slido.com, go there in the room link. So those are 3 ways to get there. Once you are there, so I'm going to go ahead and show the first question. Once you're there, if you're not there yet, then this is still how you can be able to join. The whole time this will be here. So this is the QR code that you can aim your phone's camera at, or alternatively, this is the long cut, the slido.com website, and at the top you enter this room link. So when you're in Slido, just answer this icebreaker question to show that you're here. You can and you can select all that apply. All that apply. Which of the following are athletes born in Massachusetts? So they have to cover both be athletes and born in Massachusetts. I suppose there's a lot of people born in Massachusetts, so you could say, I know a Jim. But all right, so which famous person is an athlete born in Massachusetts? And if you're having any trouble, again, we have the chat to be able to ask any questions if you're having trouble joining the Slido. But what I want to do is I'm going to move on to show this answer and move on to the next question. If you haven't joined yet, that's okay. That's okay. Still join on at any time. Right over here, this will stay here the whole time. So let me go ahead and show this first answer. Those all 4. And it's our theme for today. So this is an icebreaker because we are going to be enrolling members in benefits and modifying their benefits. So I don't want to do that to real members. We need imaginary members. And it's hard to think of imaginary names. So we're just using the names of athletes born in Massachusetts. But just keep in mind that the names are all coincidence. The dates of birth that I'll use to register are just fictional. But the names are just names of athletes. Okay, now here's a survey question. So this is the agenda that I showed you earlier. We're going to be covering registration and login, navigation, application, modifications, the qualifying events, going over that, standalone applications, view and pay bill. So I'm just curious from you, what is most important for you? What do you hope to most get out of this training? So what you'll do is on your Slido tool, you'll select the options. Any option is fine, but then after you select an option, you'll then drag and drop them around on the top part of the screen. So you select an answer to move it to the top, and then you just drag and drop to rank however you please. you don't have to place too much thought into it. It's really it's tough for me to pick a favorite personally. This type of question is something that would give me a lot of anxiety. But what I want to do is, like, by posing this question, just presenting the agenda again to you to make sure that you're looking over the agenda, and the agenda is already put in place in a specific order because that will just be the flow of events. We have to register to log in, to navigate, to get to the application, to then do standalone applications, well, actually to then do modifying applications, and to do standalone applications, and view and pay bill. Okay, yes, just make sure. Yeah, view and pay bill is kind of like the black sheep there, not as common, but we'll make sure we cover that. Okay, and now let me just ask if there's anything specific or anything else you want to learn. There's a last question before we get into our demo. You can put your answers into here, and I'm going to just reference this at the end of the demo. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to keep the screen up on your Slido. Okay, I'm going to keep the screen up on the Slido. So on your phone, you can propose anything at any time. If there's anything specific or anything not mentioned, you want to make sure is mentioned, you can just put that in any time. Let's go ahead and get started with our demo. So, okay. Oh, here we go. So it starts here at the registration page. So members will get a link to register for the portal. And what's really great about this registration page is that, well, first off, members will get the link to their preferred email address. And this registration page will ask for their PII, their personal identifiable information. It will ask, well, their name, also their email is considered PII because they can have many email addresses, but this is the email that is specifically registered with GIC as their preferred email address. So if they have a personal and professional email on file, whichever one is noted as the preferred email address will be the email that they'll receive the registration for, and the email they will enter here, their preferred email address. Then they'll enter their date of birth, last four of the social, to confirm their identity. They're not providing it. It's already been provided in GIC, which is why they're getting the invitation. Now to confirm the identity of the person taking this invitation, they have to enter that information. Then the second factor. So this is called a two-factor or multi-factor authentication. To authenticate the person's identity, they have to provide their personal identifiable information. So here we have the email, date of birth, and last four of the social. But they also have to log into their email to get a PIN number. Now, this PIN number will be it'll be unique for them, but it won't be changed if they have to request it. So let's say the member deleted their email. They can click here to request the PIN to be resent. Now, so they can get here from the registration page, request it to be resent. What's great is that the login page, if you have the login page over in the top right corner, this one page toggles between login and registration. So if a member realizes, oh, I've already registered, no problem, there's a login page. Or if they're at the login page, they're like, oh, I need to register, then they can just go register. So let me go ahead and request the PIN to be resent to our first member for today. We are going to register, okay, Lou Merloni. So that's an athlete. I don't know if it rings a bell with anyone, but here we go. Enter Lou Merloni's information in here. And this is not the real date of birth for Lou. So in case there's any Lou Merloni fans ready to criticize me for accuracy, it's just make-believe. Okay. Oh, okay. All right. So now I enter the information. Note if any information is incorrect a little bit. So let's say I did have a typo in there, or I didn't correctly know the information. It's going to not let me get a PIN reset. But if I have the right information verified, again, I'm not providing the information, I'm verifying it. Once it's verified, success. It will resend a PIN to my email. Great. So I'll go ahead and see, here's my email. So I see I got a fresh email right now, 0 minutes ago, fresh email for Lou Merloni. inviting them to the portal, letting them to know, yeah, this is their email address for registration, and this is their PIN number. So I'm going to copy this PIN number. So now go back to the registration page and use this PIN number for registration. So this is that multi-factor authentication. The member has to authenticate their identity by getting the PIN number from their email. The PIN number is only sent to their email. It's not text message. It's not sent via mail or carrier pigeon. It's sent to their email, so they have to go to their email, log into their email to get that PIN number. They can always have it resent. And then they verify their identity by adding their personal information. All right, now I'm going to create a password. Note the password requirements will appear once I start to click. So the password requirements is that it must be at least 12 characters long and must contain 3 of the following: number, uppercase letter, lowercase letter, and special character. So I'll enter a mask email and then enter it again to make sure I'm entering it correctly. And then again, here I'm going to just move some information around. So I'm going to show what happens if their information is not verified. So if I try to register, it's going to say here, invalid social security number. Or if the date of birth is off, cannot find a member associated with these details. But if the information is verified, success. Now the member is registered. What's happening now is that now it's just taking me through the standard login process. This is the visit verification code is the gatekeeper. Every time a member wants to log in, it is going to send in verification code to their email address. So I have to go back into my email address. Here we go. I got a new email right over here with a verification code. So I copy that verification code every time I go to log in. So you're going to see I'm going to log in as another member. I have to get that verification code by logging into my email address. So that is a multi-factor authentication. Every time I log in, one factor, I'll enter a password. Second factor, I'll have to log into my email. So this way we make sure that everyone's login is secure. Okay, so now we have the page for Lou Merloni. And what I'm going to do now, so let me show a lot navigation for Lou Merloni. So Lou is currently enrolled in benefits, as we see right over here on this home page. We call this the home page because we see this home button right here is a different color than the other tabs. There's 2 ways to get to the home page at any time. I can click home, but also I can click the MyGIC link at any time to arrive back to the home page. And right here at the top, we have our dashboard. So this is informing members of their enrollment status, and a note right here about where they can view their enrollment by clicking on the benefits tab. We'll get to that, but first let's look at everything on this homepage. Then we have my notifications, if there's any notifications for the member, such as a period for enrollment. But over here, my applications, they'll see more notifications. So my applications is specific for an application they're submitting. They can have more than one drafts open at a time. So perhaps the member is starting a qualifying event for marriage and is just like, and now is adding one for birth adoption. Well, they can only submit one at a time so that GIC knows which is the final decision for benefits. But so in case of birth adoption, they can add the spouse into that as well. But in case they started one and then they start another, they'll see, that's why I see multiple applications here. But the main function, that's a really rare case. So the most common thing you're going to see, the purpose of this section is for members to see their application in progress, to continue their application. So this way, a member could start an application, they can walk away from the computer, they can go look at more information, they can log back in, see their application in progress, continue their application. This will show the status of their application. Once they submit their application, if it needs to be reviewed for qualifying event, a qualifying event needs the qualifying event documentation to be needs to be reviewed. So if it's a marriage, birth, adoption, divorce, moving, all that documentation, whatever it is for the qualifying event, needs to be reviewed. If dependents are being added, those documents need to be reviewed. So it'll say the status right here. It'll say currently under review. And then, as we'll see later, if revisions are requested, again, right here on the homepage, we'll just let members know your application has revisions requested for it. Click here, right here on the homepage, to revise that application. So everything right here, right in front of them. So underneath, because there's a lot to inform them, we've created these quick links right over here. First, right here, qualifying event. So qualifying events would be how members could be able to submit qualifying events. So it's called out right over here on the homepage. By clicking on this tile, it takes me to that page for qualifying events. Now notice how this is laid out with tiles to be able to have an overview of all the different qualifying events, and then the ability to see more information by clicking Learn More. So for instance, marriage just says on the tile, the member has within 60 days to submit their qualifying event. Most of these are 60 days, except moving out of service area has no date limit, and going on unpaid approved leave of absence is within 30 days. So just gives that right on the front so members know the appropriate time to apply. Then when they're ready to learn more at any time, they can click Learn More and they learn about the plan. So if a member was not enrolled in a health plan, they can enroll in the family plan. If they are enrolled in an individual plan, they can change it to a family plan. They can add a spouse and dependents to the current family plan, or they can cancel the health plan. So this is great because you'll see with the member, if a member is doing the marriage qualifying event, they're not able to select the individual plan. They're only able to select the family plan. Whereas opposed to if it's a divorce, here a member can enroll in an individual plan. So the application will only let the member select what is appropriate for them. So it's not weighing them down with too many decisions and causing user error. So as we see at the top, it explains the more information about the event, what is considered for the qualifying event, what they can do with that event, the documentation they'll need. In addition to the qualifying event, if they're adding dependents at any time, they'll be required to upload a birth certificate for each dependent. So that is for the qualifying events, how that is informing members, and we'll start those in a moment. But first, let's look at the other quick links to show how they can help members with their benefits. We have over here a health plan carrier directory. So just right over here in the portal, just putting the information right where members need to see it. Here's the health providers for members. We have dental, vision, and other providers for members to be able to see more information for the providers. I click the website, it takes me to the website of the provider. But there's more ways to look at information about providers because we also have a GIC benefit decision guide. So this helps everything be framed for members, understanding what their benefits mean. And so here we have for state employees, quick view details, and it takes them to a PDF that they could be able to download, print, or just save the link for, but it's also always accessible right here in the portal. The next quick link is support request. We'll get to that in a moment, but and we'll get to view and pay bill in the end of the demo, just wrapping things up. First, we want to cover the last quick link right over here, plan comparison tool, because this also helps members research their benefits. So we have the directory, we have the decision guide, and we have a plan comparison tool. So over here, I select GIC benefit options. For this member, only health is available for them. And so I'm given the options for the health plans to be able to compare. So I can be able to select 1, 2 to 3 health plans, see a side-by-side comparison. First, before I even see the side-by-side comparison, I can view details, just to view more details. I can also see plan resources over here which will take me to the website for the plan. But to be able to see a side-by-side comparison, I could just click 2 to 3. compare now, and it gives me a side-by-side comparison of coverage. All right here, customized for me. And what's great is that if members were not as enthusiastic as I was to explore the portal, they just want to start their application, this comparison tool is also in the application. So this is just a way for members to be able to compare if they want to research before starting their application. They have all their information they need right here. Below that, we have more ways members can be able to be informed about the empowerment of the portal. So we have over here a welcome page. These are just micro videos. And these will be shared with you in the coordinator toolkit. This is a welcome video for the portal, explaining what the purpose and the process for the portal is. Here, this is a micro video explaining how members can view their benefits, their dependents, their personal information, and qualifying events. So there's a lot packed into this portal, and here it's just called out, even though, as we see, like it's pretty easy to go around. But if they have a question at any time, here we have support requests. You notice like sometimes websites, they'll have customer support at the bottom. So over here, it's a quick link that, but in addition to that, over here at the bottom, we have this chat window wherever I go. So if it's offline hours, it'll say no agents available at this time. But during online hours, I could submit a support request right here in the quick link. And over here, this is my support case page. So on the support case page, I see the history of my support requests. I see I could be able to submit a new support case, and I could select the category of public information, general benefit and prescription drug information, retirement, Medicare, retiree, dental, or survivor benefit information, and active employee eligibility, enrollment, and billing. So I select the appropriate category, so it's routed to the appropriate agent. Then I enter the body of the support case, kind of like an email, the subject line and body. I'll just say this is just a demo. What's great is that these red asterisks make the field required. So in the application, whenever you see a red asterisk, that means the member cannot proceed. So if I try to click submit, it won't let me proceed if I miss the field. So this is just a way to be able to provide quality assurance. I'll just say this is just a demo. Now from here, they could be able to submit, or they could submit with an attachment. So if I click submit with an attachment, it just provides this extra step to upload an attachment. Now note this is for technical support or other questions. It wouldn't be for their dependents. That would be in our qualifying events. That's specifically for qualifying events. So I'll just say I had a question with this page. All right, members have a chance to remove the document before submitting. Once they submit, they got the green banner right here for success. The request has successfully been submitted, and automatically I have a log support case. You see I'm given a request number for my reference. So if I'm talking to other agents and I have a series of cases, I can use this reference number to be able to refer to the specific instance. Over here, I see the description that I typed in, and it's just in this box. So if I don't see the full information, like over here, the category, I don't see the full text. I can click more details to see the full text. The resolution will be the text entered by the staff. Here's the document I uploaded, and the status. So right now it's submitted, it's not resolved. Once it's resolved, there'll be a resolution reason. So that's one way members can reach support asynchronously, so anytime, but this is also how they can be able to submit with an attachment. During online hours, they can be able to chat with an agent. So as we see, now we have an agent online, and what's great is that no matter where I go back here on the homepage, I still get this chat with an agent. If I'm using the plan comparison tool and I have questions, chat with an agent. So I don't have to look around to go back anywhere for customer support. It's right with me wherever I go. So again, there's no phone number. That's just chat with an agent right over here for synchronous support. And just like before, I select the category. So it's the same 3 categories: public information, or retirement, Medicare, retiree, dental, and survivor benefit information, or active employee eligibility, enrollment, and billing. So I'll go ahead and select the first category, click start chatting, and now it's routing me to an agent with that skill set. Great, it has routed me to Sana B, and Sana is saying, thank you for reaching out. How can I help you? I'll say, hi, Sana. Yeah, this whole time I've been looking at the quick links and everything, but I just want to know, I'm stuck here. How can I view my benefits? Let's say member is logged in. They just want to get to the benefits. They see they're enrolled. I know I'm enrolled, but let's say they missed this. They missed the spot. So how can they view their benefits? Well, Sana can help by directing us to click on the benefits tab on the top right corner and click on my benefit summary. So here, my benefits tab in the top right corner and my benefit summary. I'll click that and I see my benefits. Fantastic. Oh, but I can't see them all. No problem. Just like any window, I can minimize it. Sana's still there. So I'm going to tell Sana, thank you. If we want, we can add a smiley face. Great. So now from here, when I'm done, I can just click the X to close the chat. And because I clicked that X, it's going to make sure I didn't have Butterfingers and asking me to confirm I'm ending the chat. Yes, I'm confirming ending the chat. Chat has ended, so I can click the X again or click close chat, and it's gone. And it's going to say no agents available at this time for just a few seconds while it's rerouting back into the system. So over here, my benefits summary, we have all these tabs to break down all the different types of benefits: basic life, optional life, health, and long-term disability. The basic life plan. So over here, we have the top, the current plan details. This is where members could see the carrier name, the policy amount, monthly premium, the effective date, and the coverage end date if they have chosen to change their plan. So they'll be able to see what their current plan is and when there's a change in that plan. All right here. This is just real-time information. Along with that, we see their beneficiaries that are enrolled in the plan. So right here, they're for the basic life insurance, they see the information from the beneficiaries. It just says the name and the relationship and the percentage. I can click view to view more information about that beneficiary. And later we'll show how to update them by going through that link. But first, we'll hold off on that until we go through the application. And let's finish this navigation part first. Right, so over here we have the coverage details, explains more information about the plan, and the contact information about the plan. And if the member was changing their plan, we'd have the future monthly premium, future effective date, and future term date for over here for that transition. Right over here for basic life insurance, optional life insurance, same format. We're given the plan information, the date if there's an end date. The beneficiaries are the same. This is for life insurance. And details, contact information, and future plan details section. Health page is going to be a little similar, but instead of beneficiaries, if the member was enrolled in a family plan, this one's enrolled in individual, but if the member is enrolled in a family plan, they would see the dependent over here. But we see similar information with the plan information about the coverage and future plan. And then finally, long-term disability. We simply see the plan, optional end date, and future plan details and coverage information right over here. And notice how this one has a button right over here to cancel the long-term disability. That's because this is a standalone event. Remember, it can be able to do this anytime. They can enroll or cancel their long-term disability at any time. They don't need to submit a qualifying event for it. So here, the member could be able to do that when they're viewing that page. Just like for optional life insurance, at any time they can update their selection for optional life insurance by selecting, modifying, or canceling optional life insurance. I can click this link at any time to update that. And we'll do that later once we go through an application. The next tab, well, actually first calling out right over here under My Benefits. I love how right over here it has the qualifying events link. This is the same one we saw in the quick links, but it's placed there to be able to give a great user experience. So if a member wasn't exploring the portal, didn't see the quick links, they just see, oh, benefits. I want to view my benefits. I want to modify my benefits with a qualifying event. Well, it's called out right there for the member. So if they just right away, their eyes caught that tab, they could be able to see the qualifying event option to be able to get here to the qualifying event page to see what qualifying event would apply to them to modify their benefits. The next tab is My Profile. So this is where members could view their personal information. over on this page, they can print out their personal information, and then they can make some modifications. So these pencils right here next to the name and the gender, members could be able to modify that. The date of birth, salary, social, employer information and reference ID are not modified. These are based off of payroll. So those are modified automatically. But if the personal information is incorrect, members can update their own personal information. So that can be done simply with the gender. I could be able to update the gender, to update personal information, and members can update their name as well. Just note that the name would have to show the reason for the name change. So if it's a spelling issue or a legal name change. So think of this instance. A member had a marriage, but they're not modifying their benefits, but they want to update their name. Here we go. They go to their profile and they just modify their name. They select the reason. So in this case was a legal name change. Then they upload the documentation showing their correct name. There we go. We see the name of the resource, the document right over here, and I can request the name change. Great. So the name change has been submitted. So it'll take time for it to be reflected after being reviewed. For now, I can be able to also see my contact information, and I can update that by clicking this Update Contact Information button, and that just turns all those fields into edit mode. So I can edit any part of my contact information from the home address to the mailing address to the phone and email. For the mailing address, I can be able to enter this information or modify it by clicking this checkbox right here to make the mailing address the same as the home address. And the phone number, I would enter the right over here. Noting that, again, this has this red asterisk, so I wouldn't be able to save if I didn't update it. And click Update, and immediately we will see the phone number and a mailing address now in the system. So that's how members can view and update their personal information. Now they're beneficiaries. These are the same beneficiaries we viewed under the insurance plan. So when members were viewing their life insurance, we saw their beneficiaries. It is placed here as well, just so that members could see it at every possible location they might be looking. So their profile for themselves, beneficiaries, dependents, if they had dependents enrolled, and the option to change their password for their profile as well. The last tab is their name right over here, which lets them log out of the system, which we're going to do right now so that we can log in as a member who is now going to be going through the application for a qualifying event, saying that they only have life insurance. So they are going to submit a marriage qualifying event. So this member is already registered. So I'm going to log in as the member. Now let's call out a couple of these features on the login page. I mentioned how the members have to use their preferred email address, the email address that is not just any email, but the email that GIC has flagged as their preferred email address. If they forgot what's their preferred email address, they can enter forgot email. They will enter personal information over here. So in this case, we'll say this next athlete is Nancy Kerrigan. So Nancy Kerrigan, born in Massachusetts. All right, so I'm going to enter Nancy's information, well, the fictional Nancy's information. Click resend to get my email reminder. So it's giving me an email reminder right over here by showing me my email, but masking some characters because I've entered some personal identifiable information, but it wants to stay true to that two-factor authentication. So with that, it's going to give me a reminder of what my email address by masking some characters. And it's also going to give me an email notification. So it's saying, hey, we've sent you a new email. Check your email alerts. And we've sent you a new email. And I click the icon right over here to get back to the login page. And then members can also click Forgot Password to just enter their preferred email address to have a password reset link emailed to them. So now I'm going to go ahead and just log in as Nancy to show how Nancy can now enroll in benefits. If she only has basic life insurance, how she can add health insurance. All right, so I see that now that I've entered my password as one factor, the second factor verification code. So again, I have to go to my email to get that verification code. Here we go. New email has arrived. So here we go for Nancy, her verification code, and this will be unique every time. So if I am logging in, and if I've logged out and logged in again as the same member, there will always have a unique verification code. All right, now we have for Nancy. Let's go ahead and view her benefits to see how the portal looks a little different for Nancy, who has basic life insurance, has a beneficiary, does not have optional life insurance. So we see the button right here to enroll at any time as a standalone application, and no health insurance. So you see no information explaining what your current plan is, future plan. It's just letting me know not currently enrolled in health insurance. And long-term disability, also no information about that, but a button to enroll today. So I'm not going to enroll for the long-term disability. I'm going to enroll in my health plan by selecting a qualifying event. So I'm going to go to the qualifying events page, and so if I were to select the marriage qualifying event, then it would just give me the option to select a family plan. If I select another qualifying event of the same thing with birth adoption, I would only be able to select the family plan. But if I select the divorce plan, then I would be able to be given the option of individual or family plan. So for that, let me go ahead and show, I'm going to go to the marriage plan to be able to show how it's just showing me the option to select the family plan, and the individual will just be another option there. These are the 5 steps of the application. All the qualifying events have this same application, as well as for open enrollment. It's the same 5 steps. Getting started, personal information, plan selection, documents, review, and submit. So getting started. Here it's explaining information about the application. It's also letting members know how they can be able to view, just defining the different plans. And then right over here, this is the key. Members have to enter appropriate date of marriage, because if you recall, the date of marriage has to be within 60 days. So if I enter a date in the future, the marriage hasn't happened yet, I cannot submit my qualifying event. If I select a date that happened well beyond 60 days, then it's informing me that it's been more than 60 days from the qualifying event, so I cannot submit a qualifying event. I can only make changes to my health plan during GIC's next annual enrollment period. But if I choose a date just right within the 60 days, then I could be able to proceed to submit a qualifying event. Step 2 is personal information. Here I verify and modify personal information, modify if needed. But essentially, it's just showing me my personal information at this time. So if there was a name change, it's giving me options to change my name at this time. So what we want to do is I can be able to, so let's see, to update name and gender, please exit the application and update your profile. So I'm going to do that in a moment. First, show you that these fields are editable right here in the application because they are instant updates. And it's putting this into edit mode because I don't have a mobile phone number. This question over here on the bottom, is this information listed above accurate? I never answered that question. It was just because it's automatically saying no because it was missing information. So if a member is missing information like a phone number, then it will automatically have them enter the information at that time. But before I leave to update my profile for my name, I would have to save, and immediately that change is saved. I can go back to the previous step by clicking previous or clicking the step itself right over here. And now we see this is what it looks like for members who have complete information. They're showing their personal information. Please review the following information for accuracy, and they answer the question, is this information listed above accurate? If yes, they can proceed. No problem. If no, that's where it turns to edit mode. They can edit their contact information to see immediate changes, and they're informed how they can update their name and gender by going to their profile page. So I click that link, and it informs me that if I made any immediate changes, they won't be saved. I'm now being taken to another page. So yes, I want to leave the page to go to my personal information to update the name and or gender. So I'm going to go ahead and update the name. and say it was for a legal name change. Request the change. So I just edited the name by removing the N at the end, but we don't see it reflected yet because it has to be reviewed. So now I'm going to go back to the home page, and we see now this My Application section shows an application in progress. So right over here, when a member, if they were to exit, log out, come back, right over here in the front, this tile is calling out to them, you have an application in progress, continue your application. I click that link and it's going to take me to my highest step. So in this case, the highest step is 3.1. I've already saved step 2 when I modify the address. The name is being reviewed, but I've already clicked save and next previously on this step. So that's why it took me to step 3.1. Now to proceed, let me fill in this completed field right here. Okay, now we're in step 3.1. Now notice here I'm showing basic life insurance, and then asked about optional life insurance, and we have health and long-term disability. So optional life insurance is only shown to me because I have basic life insurance. As we saw before, the member is not enrolled in optional life insurance, but here the member is given the option because they have basic life insurance. If the member does not have basic life insurance, if I say I am canceling my basic life insurance, I select the date of cancellation, we could say the end of this month or the end of next month, and I'm no longer asked about optional life insurance. And I'm given a warning message. Please note you have chosen to cancel basic life insurance. Basic life insurance is required for health and optional life insurance enrollment. So if I wondered where my optional life insurance went, there it goes. And it's also informing me about health insurance. But as we see, health insurance is step 3.2. So if I click save and next, I just skip over that step. I'm only showing the questions that pertain to me. So let's go back. Let's go ahead and have fun with showing those steps as well. So we're going to continue our basic life insurance. Now we're asked about adding optional life insurance. So I can add or I can decline. If I choose decline, it's just giving me a warning message saying I've chosen to opt out of optional life insurance. Or I can choose to select. If I'm select, now I'm asked the questions about optional life insurance. First, if I'm a smoker, yes or no. Then, well, I'm not. And then, do you want to choose a multiplier or a fixed amount? So here, what does that mean? We have information bubbles. I can hover over for more information, but even if I'm a speed reader and I didn't look at the details, the system's still going to keep me on track. So if I select fixed amount, the fixed amount can only be up to $1,000 less than your base salary, rounded to the nearest thousand. So if I try to put 100, no, the lowest fixed amount can only be 1,000. If I try to put 1,010, valid, your entry isn't a valid increment. It has to be an increment of 1,000. So if I put 1,000, well, no, it has to be 1,000 less than the base salary. So if I still wasn't too sure about those directions, if I just select 62,000, again, it's saying, nope, it has to be 1,000 less than the base salary. If I do rounded then down, so if I do 61,000, we are on point. So anywhere from 61,000 to 1,000 is okay, as long as it's increments of 1,000. That's for selecting a fixed amount. And notice as I do that, the monthly premium is shown right there, calculated for me. The multiplier. So here are the options for the multiplier from 1 to 8. So I could select a multiplier amount, letting me know that this is just an estimate. The actual premium is determined at the time of approval. And I can select any amount is fine. So it's always showing that monthly premium and coverage amount is being recalculated. But what's great is right over here at 1 times base salary, there is a question just for this amount. So if it's 1 time salary, it's asking, do I want my coverage and premium to increase automatically with base salary increase? So meaning if I select no, the coverage amount is 61,000 and will stay 61,000. It will not increase. If I select yes, then it'll always be the 1 times my basis salary amount. All right, that is the optional life insurance. Next section, we have beneficiaries. So this member already had basic life insurance and already had a beneficiary. So what I can do at this time, I can modify the beneficiary. Now, note that I can't just add a beneficiary because this beneficiary is already given 100%. So I can't just add, I'd have to recalculate. So what I do is I say, if I want to update the beneficiaries, I click yes. And then it's giving me a pop-up window, a warning, saying if I modify the beneficiaries, then all previous beneficiaries will be revoked, and I must designate new beneficiaries on the page that follows. Meaning, we have Diane Landry over here. So if I click yes, then I have to re-enter Diane's information so that I can be able to show the math. So let me go ahead and enter Diane's information. And I can enter the address information, or I can just click the shortcut, same as member's address, and social security number I can optionally do at this time. I click add. Now I am given the step to add the map. So if I select, see right now it's just giving me a red warning message, total allocation must be 100%. It's right now 0%. If I do that, it's only at 50%. If I do 1000%, no good. Nope, please enter a valid percentage. So if I do 110, nope, number is too high. So it's keeping me right on point. If I select 100%, notice how right here we have this button. Add more than 100%. Now I'm asked about contingent beneficiaries because I only have one primary beneficiary. If I have two primary beneficiaries, it's not going to ask me about contingent beneficiaries. So I just love how easy this is to understand. I never studied insurance policies, but I can understand it. So if I select 50%, I can now be shown that I would have to add a beneficiary to get to 100%. So this time I'm going to select an organization, choose from one of the different relationships, and then we select the address. I can enter the address or just click that shortcut button there to make it the same as the member's address. All right, and it's going to keep showing me add a beneficiary until I get to 100%. Great, we have 100%. We can proceed. Alternatively, if I wanted to add a contingent beneficiary, that means I need only one beneficiary. So I have 100% going to one primary beneficiary. Now I can add a contingent beneficiary, yes or no. If I want to add yes, now it's giving me the option to add a contingent beneficiary. So please add at least one contingent beneficiary. I've entered the information for the beneficiary. And just like before, I have to make sure I keep going to 100, working until I get to 100%. If it's at 10%, I'm still given the option to add a contingent one. Once I get to 100, success. So now we have 100% of our allocation to our different beneficiaries for primary and contingent beneficiaries. So now we can continue. Step 3.2, health insurance. Now it's showing me the available health insurance plans because I have basic life insurance. And notice as I proceed this over here, the premium totals, this is being calculated. So based off the optional life insurance plan that I selected, based off of the health insurance plan that I selected, it's going to show the math right here in real time. Now, it's also showing the math in real time because this is a marriage qualifying event. So the member is only able to select a family plan. Over here I'll select the effective date, and it's giving me the options for dependents. But if the member has the option of independent or family plan, it'll give them that option here. For this member, because it's a marriage qualifying event, they can only select the marriage plan. So they're only able to select the appropriate plan for them. So I want to show that wonderful feature to keep members on track. So I've selected this plan, and then I'll select the date to start, the beginning of this month, next month, or the month after. So I'll select the beginning of this month. Now, okay, so let's see, it's letting me know that you may receive a bill for any premiums owed as a result of this coverage change. If you receive a bill, please be sure to pay the premium by the due date. And now we have dependents over here. Noting that dependents will be required documentation. So just like it's similar to adding a beneficiary, here I'm adding a dependent, but over here it's giving me slightly different fields. First, it's letting me know about the name, so I'm going to add name just as before. Select gender, and then select the date of birth. Now, before I enter a date of birth, notice the relationship field here is blank. Before, for a beneficiary, it gave a whole big set of relationships that are available for beneficiaries. But for dependents, the relationship of the dependent will determine what document needs to be submitted. So here the relationship field, again, is going to be very making sure that members don't have any incorrect errors. So I'm only able to select the appropriate relationship. So if I select the date of birth is 1/1/2021, well, that's a member who's under 19. So it's a dependent who, not a member, a dependent who's under 19. I can only be able to select that option. If I select 2001, well, I can no longer select under 19. I can't select between 19 and 26. I can also be able to select full-time student, in addition to all the standard relationships for spouse, former spouse, and handicapped dependent. So if I select 1901, for instance, then I'm just given those standard three: spouse, handicapped dependent, and former spouse. I select the appropriate relationship, add, and then from there I can keep adding more dependents. Let me go ahead and add a child this time. We'll say 2021. And just like the beneficiaries, I'm given the option to add a social security number at this time. All right, great. I have my two people right over here. I can review them by clicking view. I can edit them before I submit and easily by clicking edit. And I can remove by clicking remove. So let me go ahead and save to the next step, long-term disability. So as we saw before, this member was not enrolled in long-term disability, so I can continue to opt out, or I can enroll, in which will automatically update my premium total. But first I'm going to select opt out, just to be able to show what the review page will look like when a member doesn't select a specific plan. I will give them a more of a, won't show them their information, but it will provide a message to show that they have not selected that plan, in case they want to review their plan, revisit their plan to modify it. Now the document step. So over here we see I don't have any documents uploaded that are required. So if I try to save and next, I cannot proceed. The gatekeeper comes down and says, hold on, you need for a marriage qualifying event. So based off of this qualifying event, I need a marriage certificate. So this right over here, this section is specific for the qualifying event. This section over here is specific for the dependents. So depending on what the qualifying event is, it's going to tell me what the name of the document is and what relationship of dependent I selected. So over here for dependent under 19, I have to select one of these document types. For a sample spouse, for a spouse, I would have to select the marriage certificate. So let me go ahead and upload that document first. Success. And then I can review and remove or close to confirm. We'll do the same thing for the spouse. Great, now I have both my dependents. Now let me upload the document for the qualifying event. In case I overlook that, it's not letting me proceed. I must upload a copy of the marriage certificate to submit my application. Great, so look at that personalized information for this page. Great, so this is qualifying, the document specific for the qualifying event, even though it was the same document for this dependent. It's because I was adding the dependent at this time. It just happened to be the same document was needed for the qualifying event and the dependent. Now I could proceed with the qualifying event with the review and submit page. So the review page, it's going to just show me, this is my life. It's going to show me all the steps that I've done in these accordion sections because it may be long to see them all. So I can click this accordion section to expand or collapse a section if I just want to move through it. So notice over here, long-term disability, it's not showing me information like health insurance. It's showing me the plan I selected and the dependents I've added. Here's just giving me a warning message. You've opted out of long-term disability. I can update it by clicking the update button, or as we saw before, clicking on the that specific step. I can also keep clicking previous. So I'm just going to use the shortcut update LTD to say I want to enroll in LTD. Great. So I have done that. So now I will save. And I will proceed past this document step again. And now when I see my long-term disability, I see my LTD plan. So finally, for submitting, I have to check the attestation box right over here, enter my full name. Now note about this, if I enter the name without the middle initial, it will not let me submit. If I have to enter the full name, and that's why it's showing me the full name here. It has to be a matching full name. So if I enter a full middle name, nope, that's not a match. It has to be the middle initial. So I've done that, submitted. It's giving me a confirmation message. Are you sure you're ready to submit? Yes. And success. So here we go. We got a confirmation reference number. And I can print the application at any time. So I can also be able to print the application in case I didn't print it at this time. Back on the home page, my applications tile is now updated. It no longer says it's in progress. Now it says dependents and documents are under review. So those are being reviewed. It's not completed yet for the marriage qualifying event, but I could still print this application. So while that document's being reviewed, let's review our own knowledge. So question from you, what was the most valuable thing you learned in this section? So let's do a recap. I like to do the preview, review method. So let's review what we did today and just call out what you found most fascinating. We covered the registration and login process. We cover the navigation of the portal and a lot of navigation. We covered how members can view their benefits. They could see decision guides. They can compare plans, view providers, see videos, see their benefits, update their information, view their dependents, a lot packed in really nicely. And then we did the application. So what did you like? What were your impressions of the portal? Do you find this very user-friendly, very empowering, very welcoming? Or did you find it, it didn't make sense to you? How easy it is to navigate, update, or change information. Fantastic. All right. So it seems it's really easy. So let me go ahead and ask you, how easy did you find it on a scale of 1 through 5? Let's do a quantitative question. Scale of 1 through 5, how well did you understand this section? 5 being all-star. There we go. So that was a person who found it very easy. 4 being, yeah, it makes a lot of sense, but I'm going to go to that coordinator toolkit for more help. 3 being, it makes sense. I can learn it, but I'm going to need time to learn it. 2 is a bit worried. You're going to need more help. 1 is lost, starting over. This really makes no sense. Great. Wow, look at all those 5s and a couple 4s. Excellent, excellent. All right, so let's go ahead and revisit with a quick question over here. So let's review your memory. Where do new hires receive their PIN to register and the verification code to log into the MyGIC Link self-service portal? So if we recall, this is the multi-factor authentication. Every time a member goes to log in or the member is registering for the first time, they have to authenticate their identity. So they have to enter a password or enter their personal identifiable information. And all right, everyone's got it. Very good. They go into their email to verify their identity. Great. Okay. 2 out of 3 questions. Second out of 3. How can members get help with their MyGIC Link self-service portal? Select all that apply. So if you recall, as we're going through the portal, this is a self-service portal. So what if members need somebody? What if they have questions? The support request would be submitting a case, submitting so asynchronous support, submitting a case, a live agent chat, calling 1-800-MyMagic. Very good. We'll give a 3-second countdown. 2, 1. Yep, that one usually tricks people up. So just because it's most websites with customer service. So just to be able to show you again, on the website, there is no customer service phone number. Instead, members have the tile right here for a support request and to chat with an agent wherever they go. And last question. This will be the segue for our next section. Where do members see the status of their enrollment application? So let me be clear, for their application, not their benefits, meaning a member is just submitted their application and their dependents are being reviewed, or they were sent an email that their documents need to be revised. Where do they see the status of that application? So they submitted their application, and they can see their application has been successfully submitted. It's being reviewed. So the status is it's being reviewed. Later, the status might be revisions are requested. Okay, here we go. Oh, so people are a little not clear. All right, no problem, no problem. This is where we got the guide for you to revisit it. You're not going to memorize everything after I say it one time. This is just to be able to introduce everything to you and then show you the coordinator toolkit. So the correct answer is the homepage. So let me show you over here on the homepage. Ta-da! So over here on the homepage, this is where we see the status of the application. The dependent and documents are under review. So the question may not have been clear. I was not talking about how members can view their benefits. They can view their benefits on their page, or if they update their own personal information, they can update their personal information here and see that this is in progress. Application specifically, and now we see, oh, look at that, the GIC staff so fast and efficient. They have already reviewed the documents for the dependents and are saying additional information is needed to enroll my dependent sample spouse. So a member will get an email so they don't have to always log back into the application. And right over here, the My Notifications section also is giving a notification that's been successfully submitted. So again, here on the homepage, it's been submitted, but it's being reviewed, and now revisions have been requested. So I just click that link to revise the application. And over here, I could be able to revise that specific part that was being requested. So this dependent just needed a revision. Let's say the name was wrong, or I uploaded a wrong document. I can review that document, remove that document, and replace that document. Upload successful. And then before I update, I have to enter the attestation again, and then click update. Great, and again, it's under review. So under the homepage, is members want to know, let's say they're not checking their email. They just want to know, hey, my document, my application's under review. What's the status of my application? Homepage. So now let us show the standalone applications. All right, this time I'm going to log in as Josh. Let's see, have my email refresh. There we go. Okay. All right, so now I'm logged in as Josh. Josh Grisby. Okay, so Josh Grisby can be able to do standalone applications. So by looking at my benefits, I could be able to update my optional life insurance as any plan at any time, as long as I have basic life insurance. So let's go ahead and do that first. Update plan details. Update optional life insurance, whether enrolling in it, canceling it, or modifying it. It's a 3-step process. Step 1 is verifying the personal information again. So here I verified personal information. And just as before, if they're missing information, they have to enter that and save. All right, now we have information for their Now we have information for their plan, so they can be able to, because they already had optional life insurance, they can cancel a plan, in which case they'll select the termination date, the end of this month, next month, or that one after, or they can choose to increase or decrease it. So again, the system is going to keep the member in place. So because they had a fixed amount of 5,000, they can decrease it to another fixed amount. If they chose to increase it, it's asking if they want to increase it to a higher fixed amount or a multiplier. So it's only asking about the multiplier because that would be within that range. So if I choose another fixed amount, so for instance, the state, it has to be a decreased amount. So if I try to do a higher amount, no good. I'm saying I wanted it decreased, so it has to be a lower amount. Great. So I've modified the plan appropriately, and then I review just as before and submit. Success. All right, great. All right, so for this application, it's not going to show it over here. This is just the standalone application. So instead, we're going to see right over here, I have a coverage end date over here, and we have our future plan details over here. Next up would be the long-term disability. Members can be able, actually, we can be able to do beneficiaries anytime. Let me go ahead and do that. Because here we see beneficiaries. I can click here to edit the beneficiaries, and that just takes me to the page we saw before on my profile, how members can view my beneficiaries. So members have two ways to edit the beneficiaries. They can either directly do it from my profile, seeing the information for the beneficiaries, or when they're looking at their plan, they see their beneficiaries, they go to edit, and it takes them right here. This is where they click to edit their beneficiaries, and just as we saw before, if they want to update their beneficiaries, the previous beneficiaries will be revoked. So right now I have Amber right here as beneficiary. If I click continue, no more Amber. I have to re-enter my beneficiaries. So do that just as we did before. I'm going to skip over that stuff because we saw that in the application. The last standalone application is for long-term disability. So members can be able to enroll or cancel anytime, and this is just simply an on-off switch. So if I have on long-term disability, I can cancel it and select the date for the termination. All right. Okay, so now from here, that's been successful. So now from here, if I go back to my beneficiaries page, just by refreshing the page, I can also click the refresh button. It now shows the end date for the long-term disability plan and no future plan because I just canceled it. All right, so those are those standalone applications. The last thing we have to cover is how to view and pay a bill. Okay, so for this, we're going to log in as Dana. Now something call out, if a member does not have a bill, they click view and pay bill, it will just be a blank screen with a message saying, you don't have a bill. But if they have a bill, it will be informing them of their information under the view bill tab. The pay bill tab is how they could be able to pay for the bill. But again, if they're just scrolling through, they're shown over here, they can pay for the bill via check or money order, or by clicking pay my bill. And it takes them right there to be able to pay by credit card. Or electronic check. And over here, we have this reference details that members can use and enter in the reference details section. Just note that the issue date has to be reformatted for year first, then the month, then the day. Okay, all right, so that's been added. Then they can add another, and then they could add their general information to save and continue to go on to the payment step, in which they'll enter their payment information and then see a receipt. And that is how to view pay bill. So with all of that said, let's recap what we've covered today. We've covered all the sections for the modifications. We didn't get enough chance to go through a qualifying event again, but we showed how that qualifying events page looked and how you're able to modify the application, showed the standalone applications and view and pay bill. But now I want to open up the floor for any questions that you have. If your question is not able to be addressed at this time, come back and see us again on the 22nd and 23rd. This is optional time. If you just come and don't have a question, it will just be a moment of peace and quiet because we're only here to respond to your questions. So with that said, I'm sure people have questions at this time. So let's look at the chat. Let's see. Oh, I see a few questions here at the chat. Gary Lynn, what questions do we have in the chat that we should open up for everyone?
Hi, Jason. Let's see. Yes, Christine has said, I have found that first-time users have been rejected by GIC Link because they previously had no email on file with GIC.
Hi, Christine. This is Paul Murphy. What I want to let people know is in order to use the MyGIC link that we rolled out in 2019, as well as this new member portal, GIC has to have an email on file under the member's record. So previously, if the person did not have an email, you're right, they would not be able to use the MyGIC link or DocuSign process. But they were prompted to give us an email through an email update form that come up on the MyGIC link as an error. So if the member did that, we loaded their email address into their profile so they could use it going forward. Enrollment forms, benefit statements, etc. over the years. If you would like a list, and this goes for anyone on the call, of people in your agency that do not have an email address on file with GIC, I can provide that report to each agency for all the members in the agency. I will need you to send me an email. It's paul.murphy@mass.gov, and I can send you an Excel spreadsheet of all the people in your agency that do not have an email address. You can add a column to that, give us the email address, and we will upload it into the member's record so they will get a registration email. You need to give me your agency division, though. I get a lot of emails, so I want to make sure I'm pulling the right agency. So when you send me the email, just tell me you'd like a list of members with the agency division, and I can provide that to you. And that way these people will get a registration email to use the portal.
Okay, the next question is from Maria, and she's asking, will offline agencies be notified and or have to approve address changes and qualifying events?
Hi, Maria. No, you will not have to approve address changes or qualifying events. When the member goes into the portal, they administer their own changes within their own record in the portal. That information will come to GIC and we will update our enrollment eligibility system. However, they have to submit the documentation with qualifying events or they won't be able to submit the qualifying event in the portal. GIC will still need to approve those documents and the qualifying event, but the member is able to upload all that information into the portal for us to review. But you don't have to approve them anymore. GIC will handle that.
Okay, and Christine is asking, how do members get an email on file for the registration to recognize the PII?
I think we just answered that in the previous one. If you want, you can send me an email asking for the people missing an email in your agency, and I can provide that report to you.
Okay, and also from Christine, can GIC coordinators log in and initiate changes? For example, a salary increase that does not require a member signature.
No, Christine, those changes that you have to send to GIC reporting salary changes, new hire information, still have to be done through an enrollment form to GIC. This is strictly a member's record, and the member is making changes to their own record. So salary changes, you're going to have to still use the same process you do today. You can't log into this portal and view what members are doing.
Okay, and Lori is asking, will new employees still be required to send an enrollment form with an ink signature, or can they use the new system to enroll?
If the employee has GIC benefits, the member will receive a registration email and they can go in and make changes to their record, qualifying events, annual enrollment changes, etc. in the portal. We will still provide the weekly report to the agencies of all people that go in and make enrollment and coverage changes so that you can update the payroll deduction. So anyone that makes changes that impact premium will appear on that weekly report that we send to offline agencies. But to get the person into the portal, if they have no GIC benefits, we do need that initial enrollment form so we can set the person up. Once we set them up in the system, a registration email will go out to the member. So we encourage people, and you can tell your new hires to also put in the email address on the form their preferred email, and the registration will go out once we process the enrollment forms.
Okay, and Christine is asking, do coordinators have access to the portal as a coordinator, not a member?
No, coordinators do not have access to the portal. Only as a member they have access.
Okay, and Maria is asking, will the offline agency be notified? What if we are not aware of the address changes or qualifying event?
We don't notify the agencies, Maria. The qualifying event, if GIC approves it and changes coverage that impacts premium, they will be on that weekly change report. But all the documentation within the portal is maintained at GIC. So I just want to remind everyone too that we will be building in the coordinator section of our website. You will see a portal toolkit. We will be building an FAQ document. There are some videos in there for the offline agencies. It's separated by our online agencies, our municipal agencies, and offline agencies. We have put the videos in the section of the coordinator toolkit. And the same videos appear when the member goes in and they register for the portal. They can see how to view their benefits, add a dependent, update their information, etc. We will be building a FAQ document based on these trainings, and we will add these questions into the FAQ document and post that under the offline section of these toolkits going forward. We will also be putting in a member benefit portal user guide for the coordinators. You will be able to go in and look at this user guide and reference it. It'll give you all of the screens in the portal should an employee come to you with any questions. We do not want you to give it out to the employee. It's strictly a reference guide that walks you through the different screens.
Okay, and Maria has asked, what about retirees who do not use computers? Will hard copy forms be allowed for them?
Yes, we will still accept paper enrollment forms through my GIC link, or if people mail it into the GIC. This is just another option we are rolling out. If a member registers for the portal and they retire from your agency, they will still have access to the portal to view their benefits. They will not be able to make changes, but they will be able to view their benefits in the portal even after they retire. In the spring of next year, GIC is rolling out the entire portal to 100,000 retirees. So we are building that portal now. We'll be rolling it out around March with a pilot group of retirees, and then in May and June, all of the retirees, where people can go in and notify us of their retirement, etc., and make changes to the portal as a retiree. But that's to come next year after we finish open enrollment. Open enrollment will be there for all employees, whether they're offline, online, or even a municipal. Members who are in the portal can make annual enrollment changes next year during annual enrollment using this new portal. But we will still accept paper enrollment forms. But we encourage people to go in and use the portal. The portal changes come to GIC instantly and we load them into our system. We don't have that delay of mail, scanning, processing. and putting it into our systems queue for them to process. So a lot of these changes are instantaneous, particularly the beneficiary changes. So we would encourage people to get familiar with the portal.
Well said, Paul. Well said. It's like, you've been selling this for a while now.
Building it for a while.
Yes. A lot of heart and thought went into it, and effort. So, if there's no remaining questions, your time's very valuable. We're gonna just redirect you to our Ask the Experts session on 22nd and 23rd. So bring your questions at that time. If you have no questions, no worry. We will bring the questions to you, to the Coordinator's Toolkit. So we'll be back on those dates to just have the floor open to continue questions. Thank you, everyone, for your time today, and have a magic day.